Hi everyone, welcome to Vibe Vessels. In today's video, I wanted to go over this passage from Neville Goddard called The Power of I Am. The I Am, this is highly talked about in the manifestation community, but it took me a very long time to really understand what it meant. Affirmations such as I am wealthy, I am happy, I am healthy, I am this, I am that, putting yourself in the present moment of I am. But what is I am? That's a question I had for a long time. Let's go over how Neville explains the I am in his passage. So he begins the writing with a verse from the Bible, and it is Ephesians 5:13. All things, when they are admitted, are made manifest by the light. For everything that is made manifest is light. He goes on to say that the light is consciousness. Consciousness is one, manifesting in legions of forms or levels of consciousness. In this quote, he is equating physical light to the non-physical idea of consciousness. Similar to the way a light bulb that's turned on emits light to everything around it, consciousness is all around. It is everything. It is. It just is. Consciousness just is. When you are in the dark, you are not living in consciousness. And that means you are unaware of your thoughts. You're not intentionally creating your reality using your thoughts. You're wandering around in the dark, hoping for the best, not realizing that you are the one creating this. When you are in the light, you are aware of your consciousness. You are aware that your thoughts create, and you are using that awareness to your advantage. That's walking in the light. That's living in the light. You are thinking and walking in faith of your desired reality. That is the light. That action, thinking and walking in faith of your desired reality, is the light. Consciousness manifests in legions of forms or levels of consciousness, meaning wandering around in the dark, living in chaos, not having what you want in life, being unhappy. These are forms or levels of consciousness, as is living a life you are happy and satisfied with, walking in the light in absolute faith every day, having everything that you want, living in your desired reality. Those are also different forms or levels of consciousness. He goes on to explain that consciousness, though expressed in an infinite series of levels, is not divisional. There is no real separation or gap in consciousness. The I am cannot be divided. I've heard people say over and over again that there is no separation between you and your desires, and it would always confuse me, especially when I didn't have what I wanted. I would always think to myself that there absolutely was a separation between me and my higher self or my ideals or my manifestations, because I'm not her. I don't have what I want. I'm not yet the person I see myself in my head to be. And what Neville is explaining here is that consciousness, or I am, is actually your imagination. And there is no separation in your imagination. You can imagine whatever you want in succession. That's why there are no separations or gaps in consciousness and an infinite series of levels. You can imagine an infinite number of things back to back to back. Right now, you can imagine yourself eating a pancake or some soup or a frog. Legions of forms, levels of consciousness, all different things you could imagine yourself eating right now. And there are no separations between those thoughts. It's just one thought after another. It's all in your consciousness, all in your I am, in your imagination. There is no separation. And that's why he then goes on to explain all of the different legions of forms or levels of consciousness you could imagine yourself to be. He says, I may conceive myself to be a rich man, a poor man, a beggar man, or a thief, but the center of my being remains the same, regardless of the concept I hold of myself. At the center of my manifestation, at the center of manifestation in general, There is only one I am, manifesting in legions of forms or concepts of itself. I am that I am. You can manifest or conceive yourself to be anything, rich, poor, beggar, thief, whatever. But the center of who you are is I am, as in you exist. You are a part of that great I am that is consciousness. And because you are, you exist as a part of consciousness. And that means you can imagine whatever you want. You can imagine yourself to be whatever you want. All of these different traits about yourself that you imagine, I am rich, I am poor, you are manifesting or conceiving into your reality. Neville then goes on to explain how God describes himself as the great I am. He quotes Exodus 3:14 when God said to Moses, I am who I am, and told Moses to say this to the people of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. In Psalms 46:10, the lyric is, he says, be still and know that I am God. As in, God says, be still and know that I am God. We know that God is in all of creation. We know that God is a part of everything. God is in you. He is the consciousness. He is the I am. So when you pray for something, what are you praying for? What are you imagining? Most likely when you're praying for something, you're imagining what it is that you want. And in that imaginal act, as Neville calls it, you are connecting with God. When you affirm, I am rich, and you imagine yourself to be rich, you are showing God through your imagination that that is what you want to connect to. That is what you want to experience in your I am. In the infinite legions of forms that I am can take, you want I am rich. That's the experience that you want. And because your existence, your I am, is your imagination, and God is the great I am, when you pray and imagine what you want, you are connecting because you are connected to the great I am. Neville says, I am is a feeling of permanent awareness. I may forget who I am, where I am, but I cannot forget that I am. That is to say, a permanent feeling of knowing that you are always existing and therefore always imagining and therefore always constantly praying and showing God what it is you want to experience. You can forget who you are, as in you can change your different self-concepts of yourself over and over. You can forget where you are, but you cannot forget that you exist. You're always imagining, always constantly praying, and always showing God what it is you want to experience. It's impossible for anyone to forget that they exist. But it is easy to forget that you are permanently connected, permanently praying, permanently manifesting. Really want to drive that part home. He closes out his explanation of I am with the statement, I am is that which, amid unnumbered forms, is ever the same. And we talked about the unnumbered forms earlier, which is basically all of the different self-concepts you can hold about yourself. The remainder of this writing goes on to talk about your self-concept and how it pertains to manifestation, different I am affirmations, etc., etc. I should say the remainder of the writing goes on to talk about your chosen self-concept because you choose that and how it pertains to your manifestation, etc., etc. I hope this breakdown of Neville's The I Am has been helpful to you, or the power of I Am. I hope it has been helpful to you. Let me know your thoughts or any questions you may have in the comments. And for further reference, you can listen to the full audio of the I Am. I'll add it in a card here at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.